This is where you go, hi guys. You
Hey
would think
guys.
that we have not done this episode over 83 times. Today is episode 84. However, look at our background. We're in a new space in a new location. So please bear with us. We do still have the other area in our home for video production. However, our new office peeps have really stellar internet, which we're super excited. And just to true confession, as I walked in when we moved in, Conor was like, the internet here is so fast. So he's a super happy guy, and we are coming in live. So today's,
Before you go forward, so the internet connection at the house, I think, is like 60 gigs.
Our internet's pretty fast at home.
Which is halfway decent. Here at the office, it's running in excess of 250 gigs. My tester that I use only goes to 250, and then it just puts a little plus sign. So I'm at the plus sign. So there you go.
And we have multiple different neighbors. So if my volume's a little shorter than normal, know that I'm still super passionate. I'm just trying to be very respectful of our neighbors all around. So we're working on volume stuff. But in the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, Lakeisha. Hopefully Arizona's going fantastic for you.
Hello.
We had some slippery ice today in Nebraska, so it's probably a good thing that you are not here experiencing all of that. But okay, guys, so today what we wanted to do is, this is the week of the month where we actually bring strategies to you guys, right?
Yep.
So the thought process is we have been doing this gig for quite some time. Before this gig, I was in corporate America. Believe it or not, I used to do telesales. I used to do door-to-door close or door-to-door sales. I used to walk into doors multiple times within one day and introduce myself over and over and over and over. And if you guys have ever had solicitors or telemarketers come, sometimes it's not always the most ideal experience, but somehow I was able to get very neutral about it and allow my vibrancy and effervescence to shine forward. And I would get a lot of different connections. Mm-hmm. So what I found was it was all about how do we step in and serve somebody else? How do we help and add value? So today we're bringing a very specific tailored scenario. We always say, take what resonates. And if something doesn't resonate, try it anyway. And then after you try it, if it still doesn't resonate after you've been consistent with it, then at that point, it just might not be your jam, right?
Or it might not be your jam now. It might be in a couple of months.
Yeah.
It might be a year from now.
Yeah.
Hold on to the stuff and retry it.
So this is Conor's disclaimer, right? So that's why I'm bringing it to you. But what I can tell you is all of these we have tested. We've had, I've had coaching clients attempt these and they actually like thrive off of them. And once it becomes fun, then all of a sudden it becomes easy because it's part of the ever-going process of you growing, right? So really quickly, one, this is not meant to be overwhelming. So right out the gate, if it is overwhelming, if that starts to surface for you, just kind of check in. Like it's not natural for us to want to go out and make connections and go out and sell ourselves, right? The thing is it's something that's learned as you actually grow a business. And if you are in sales, it's something that it's a muscle that the more and more you do it, the more practice you get, the easier it becomes, right? It's like almost like that thought process. We had videos way back about the elevator pitch. The more opportunities you have to practice, the more you start to find your voice and what do you stand for and how do you position yourself and how do you represent yourself? So know that. So right at the very beginning, if it's overwhelming, like don't just throw the baby out with the bathwater. I think that's the quote we used last week, right? Instead, just kind of lean into, okay, I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety or something's coming up. Okay, cool. What way can I just lean in a little bit more, right?
Right.
So the thought process is with all of this stuff, we're going to touch base on website. We're going to touch base on social media. We're going to touch base on networking events. And then we're also going to touch base on how to get in connected with old family, friends, and all that jazz. So kind of like a personal connection as well, right? So to start with the website, like say that you are going out shopping, right? You're on websites or you're doing some research and you're on a website or you're looking to buy a product or buy a service, right? You're on a website, and if it's really easy for you to order, if they've got really good information that answered your questions, we recommend to make a connection by filling out a contact form and tell that business, that company, what they're doing really well and what you actually enjoyed. In the world of online marketing, there's a lot of information out there. And believe it or not, a lot of businesses are attempting to make sure that they provide whatever value that it is that they need. They're going to be building a website and tailoring it so you can order the quickest and order the fastest, right? However, not very often do people actually give businesses kudos. So ensure to do that. Like we get emails pretty often of people reaching out to be like, hey, I love the fact that you have personalized images on your website. I love the fact that you give so much free information. I love the fact that you're easy to access and get different information. And then we do the same with other businesses. So even though we're SEO, website design, and Google AdWords, if we come across a website audit or we're just coming across some kind of random website that we're like, you know what, they did this really, really well. We actually send a contact to them to let them know, hey, you're doing this and you're excelling quite well. Do you have anything to add to that with all your experience?
So I know that from time to time, I mean, different websites we'll build and whatnot,
Yeah.
and then we'll get feedback from those website owners that their customer had said, hey, this website is clean, or this was what you really use.
Yeah.
But getting feedback, it's almost like getting reviews online. It's really hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anytime you can give any kind of feedback, constructive feedback, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, whatever,
yeah,
that stuff, that's a gold mine to both the owner of the website and the web designers to know what it is or what path that a user needs to go down.
Correct.
Okay. And we've received good and bad depending on what's going on. Hey, maybe this didn't flow the exact way we needed it to go, and we have to go a different route.
Mm-hmm.
But we wouldn't know that if we didn't have the feedback. So
right.
Getting that feedback and providing that feedback to other people, that is that's a critical step.
Yeah, and the other thing too, especially with the feedback, is say that you're on a website and something's broken. So say for whatever reason the contact form's not working and or there's something that's missing or a form just did a 404 error in a page. Send people that email as well. So from a sales area, say that there's a new business that you're trying to get in front of, right? And say that you either want a partnership or you're wanting to get your products into their location or something to that extent. You can actually creatively make this part of your sales process where you go on their website, you take a tour, you walk through their website, you walk through the pages. We're not expecting you to be website designers, right? Like that's not the intention. But if for whatever reason a company's contact form's not working, they more than likely don't know about it. Mm-hmm. If it's still not working, right? So what a beautiful way for you to step forward and create a message for them to say, hey, I didn't know if you knew it or not, but your contact form's not working. Just wanted to give you a quick buzz. Maybe that's something that you pick up the phone and you call them, just give you a quick buzz to let you know. Believe it or not, they're going to be super grateful that you actually picked up the phone and did that. And then at that point, you can create a genuine connection between the two of you. You can say, hey, I just moved into town. Just wanted to see, are there any local networking events that you're part of? I would really like to be able to learn our community and learn different information. Or do you know anybody that's looking for a specific product to optimize some of their services, right? There's multiple different ways that you can position that. Again, it's about stepping forward and adding value and being of service. We always recommend if you're trying to get into some business or get connected to some person, check to see if they have a website, check to see what their online presence is in general, if that makes sense, and start to get active in that and letting them know.
Yep. So before we go down the road of the networking end of things, there's two other parts to that, filling out contact forms or letting people know when there's issues.
Yeah.
One part of SEO, and it's been done for probably the last 5 or 6 years, and it's basically called it's broken backlink SEO. And what that means is that you find a website online that you really want to link from.
Yeah.
And you find a broken link that is linking to a competitor. And then you write a better article. You notify the place, hey, we noticed this is a broken link, but we have a very similar article over here. Do you want to link to us instead? And that is a tactic in SEO to build links or gain links. It requires link audits and stuff like that, but that is another tactic basically with regards to those broken links or errors that you find on the page. The other one, a few years ago, and you may remember it, we had a competitor in town that does SEO and web design and stuff like that. And we noticed that their website went offline.
Yep.
And well, obviously can't fill out the contact form to say, hey, but I saw that it went offline. Yeah. I had their phone number. I called up, said, hey, I'm sure you're aware of it, or I'm sure you're working on it. but I just wanted to let you know this is what's going on. And that was a competitor. You know, most people don't do that for competition, but you know,
we are guys, we're those people, right? Like it's
mhm.
like one of those things, like when you come across, even if they're in the same realm, it's like one of those, you're stepping in and you're doing a service. Like it's never a good feeling whenever a website is down in general.
Right.
And that's just kind of like one of our pillars in the business is it's like, how do we step forward and serve other people? We actually play really well with a lot of competitors, especially local competitors.
Yep.
It just, we have this belief that the business that's meant to be ours will be ours, and the business is meant to be theirs will be theirs, right? So we
Yeah.
take the competition out, we take that yuckiness out, if that makes
I
sense.
mean, we even had a phone call a few months ago from another client in town or competitor in town, and he called up just, hey, I know you've been around for the last 10 years, and
Yeah.
they have too, but we've never actually talked. It was a good chat on the phone call, but making that connection is paramount to um, figuring out that strategy, using that
Right.
website, notifying if there are errors on or what you do or do not like, and let them improve it. So,
Yeah, it's like one of those that's really, really important, right? So this is more website focused.
mhm.
Here's another thing. We're going to slide into social media and then bring it back to the website real quick. On social media, you guys already know if you're in your sales process, whatever the service is, the product is that you're selling, if it's you or if it's actually a physical product or a physical service, you want to start to identify who is it that you want to get in front of and who is it that's emulating the things that you like and that you appreciate, right? So really quickly, the thing is make sure that you like their social media pages, whatever platform of social media you have. Like, believe it or not, I think like 5 or 6 conversations came up this week of what social media do I need to use for my business? How do I do it? Our rule of thumb is always figure out what works easiest for you, right? What is the easiest for you to implement and continue going and going and going? Then you can start to test to figure out where is your audience actually at. At no point do we recommend activating all social media platforms at once.
Right.
And again, if you followed us before, we recommend not machine gunning your social media statuses. So what that means is if you post on Facebook, don't turn around and post it on Instagram immediately, and then Pinterest and Twitter, because if you have people that are in all of those accounts and they're following you, they're going to get like inundated with all the same information over and
Mhm.
over and over, right?
Like we have the YouTube video, so we've got our Facebook Live here, and once all this is done, I'll do my video editing and improvements and sounds and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and then upload the video to YouTube because we have a different audience on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I won't upload this video today. We just had our Facebook Live to
Yeah.
turn around at 5 o'clock and then upload the video again. I'm bombarding the same audience. So I'll usually wait until Monday or Tuesday, depending. And then that's when I'll repost this video online
Right.
and then get to reshare it onto Facebook for other people to see.
Right.
So,
So through the process of social media, make sure that make sure that you actually follow them. So just because you like a page does not mean that they're actually going to land into your newsfeed. So you want to go the extra step of actually following the business so it lands into your newsfeed. So here's a thing a lot of people don't know and or they might have just forgotten. You can actually like a business on your personal page, and then you can actually like a business from your actual business page. We recommend actually doing them both. And if you are running and operating a business page and you're wanting to get in front of someone, you want to make sure that you're actually active in the business page. You can for sure get active in the personal page for like you can earn badges, and I can talk about that later, but there's different stuff that you can actually earn from a personal being a person. However, for you to be able to get exposure that's genuine and that actually is in an alignment when you're going to support other businesses, you want the name to actually show up, right? It's a little bit of a mind twist. Just figure out what works best for you in a scenario. Also, it depends on what you're presenting on your personal page. If you put a lot of I call it drama, trauma, whatever the stuff is on your personal page, and it's different than the energy on your business page. You want to make sure that you're actually active on your business page, because those businesses are going to go and look at your personal page if you're commenting and all that jazz.
right.
I say that because of this guy. Like, he has a disclaimer he sends to people that want to be his personal friend, right? At the same time,
If you want to be my personal
friend. At the same time, we're very open and honest and just let people know that, hey, he posts what he wants on his personal page, and if it offends you, just unfriend him, move on.
Some of it is work stuff.
Scenario.
You know, I definitely do post a lot of the work stuff that's going on. You know, there's events that are happening right now with regards to web servers and softwares and copyright claims and things like that. And I will post that on my personal page because I've got a lot of contacts on there that are in that same industry.
Yeah.
But it's not something that I would post on our business page because it's unrelated to our business in any fashion. We don't do this type of programming.
Yeah.
I do, but as a business, we don't.
Right.
So I keep those separate for them.
Right.
Sometimes as a business following other businesses, sometimes you don't want to follow another business as a business name. Maybe you follow them under your personal page. Either way, tracking what's going on, less about the competition. It's more about what it is that you actually want to follow, what it is that you endorse, what it is.
And that's the thing again, is it's a matter of what is the message. So like if you're on social media and you're following businesses and they post something that like really resonates with you, like a lot of people get in that habit of likes and loves and laughs, right? We totally get it. Like there is an algorithm behind that. But if you can actually take the next step of actually leaving a comment, right? If you don't know specific words to put, you can create like little mini scripts that you have, like awesome job, I love this post, something like that's super, super simple.
And not spammy.
And or you can actually just do emocons, right? That is super popular. People are talking in those little sticker emocons, GIFs and all that jazz. It's becoming a trend, right? And it's becoming acceptable, whether it's in personal or business, right? If you're looking to get engaged and connected with new business owners and you opt to actually start commenting and liking on your personal page, if you do it consistently enough, again, not stalkerish, not spammy, the comments are genuine, the likes are genuine, you can actually earn badges, and you can earn badges, I believe it's for the week and for the month. And you actually don't lose those badges until somebody else comes across and does more than you do, right? So think about this, like Facebook specifically is trying to enhance people to engage more, to support more. So if you're on social media already and you're like scrolling and doing stuff, just pivot and shift to who's the businesses you want to get in front of? What could you say? What do you like? Don't be afraid to leave Facebook recommendations. It's not called Facebook reviews anymore. It's actually you recommend the business or not. And sometimes they'll actually open to where you can type something up. Don't be afraid to actually snap a picture of a product that you got, whether it's in the shipping or it's the aftermarket. Believe it or not, the thing that has more weight is if you do a selfie. Now, the benefit of doing a selfie with their product is if you tag them, they're going to see it, they're going to like it, and they know your face, right? So that's the other thing too. You might be able to highlight.
They share it.
Yeah, you might be able to highlight that on the way that the brain, like they does brain in colors, but face recommends a little more.
I can't remember what the study was. I actually shared it with you. It's probably on my phone. I should go dig that up while Kim is talking. But essentially, your brain recognizes faces more than anything else. So the way the study was being done, it was an article I was reading regarding YouTube videos and thumbnails and putting up the different capture image. Same thing goes on Facebook. But from a branding end of things, if you're the person who's going to be in the video or in the post, putting your face on there, people will actually recognize that more than they will your logo for your business, the words that you have on the page, or the color scheme that you're using. They look at the face, they recognize that, and then they read everything else around it. So yeah, that is a separate marketing tactic. But it does work.
Yeah, and I was going to say on social media specifically, if you do a selfie and then all of a sudden they see your name commenting and liking all your stuff and you're ordering and you're supporting and you're doing all this stuff, say all of a sudden you want to tell them about your services. You could easily send them an email and be like, hey, I've been following you and I've been a fan for X, Y, and Z amount of months or X, Y, and Z years. This is what I love about your products. This is what that always intrigues me, that I love to support. By the way, do you know somebody that needs A, B, and C? Or could you grab a cup of coffee, right? It doesn't have to be that pushy sales. Instead, it could just be genuinely wanting to connect with somebody and wanting to share the support, right?
I was going to look this up, but you know what? I
would not do it. Okay, so let's see. A couple other things on social media. So we talked about the likes, the comments. So if for whatever reason they have like some kind of announcement where they've opened a new location, they've launched a new website, they've added somebody to their team, right? So think of like announcements outside of normal shares of products and services. Make sure you go in and you actually write a personalized comment. I would not make it a one-liner. designer. So this might take a little bit of work, right? But I would do some form of a paragraph, because think about this, as people go through and they say kudos or congratulations, love it, welcome to the team, whatever, they're going to go and they're going to like and comment, but they're just going to skim through, but then they're going to stop whenever they actually have a paragraph. And there's a higher chance that the longer the text is, or if it's past a sentence, that the owners of the business will actually come back and thank you for your time and thank you for the comment. At that point, you've fused a contact with that individual or that business owner, or even if it's the marketing person, right? Marketing people, in most cases for small businesses, are the gatekeepers. They're doing multiple different tasks in multiple different scenarios. Mm-hmm. And it just so happens that social media management is one of them. Now, some businesses still have the business owners running their social media. Like us, we control it, right? So if somebody wanted to get connected to us, the fastest way to do that is to comment something nice on our Facebook. And then we're like, hello, how are you, right?
And you're there. Yeah.
So like definitely give them congratulations. Now, if you want to really impress them, put the comment in the social media of their announcement, right? Then actually write a personalized note and pop it in the mail, right? Like, hey, just saw that you moved locations. That's super cool. Or, hey, just noticed that you expanded your business. I'm super excited for you. I've been following you for quite some time. This is what you emulate that I absolutely love. Been using your products for XYZ years. Big congratulations. If you need anything in the community, reach out. So this is the key hint. If you need anything in the community, reach out. At that point, when you use that form of language or whatever your form of language is for that, you're inviting a connection back and forth. You're saying that, hey, one, kudos to you. Two, I want to step in. What can I provide? What information can I provide? Then if you pick up the phone or you show up at their location, it's not so awkward, right? Slide a business card in there for sure so they know who you are. Make sure that your social media accounts or something's on there so they can connect with you. Make sure you go and you like their social media. Believe it or not, for me, one of the qualifiers I had when I was networking was if somebody liked and followed our business page, I kind of give them a little more, I would lean in and serve them and give them more love and attention than somebody that wasn't liking or commenting or following our business page, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of one of those things of it's a give, it's a receive. It's kind of like an open channel back and forth.
And at the end of everything, so even the message that goes out, the handwritten notes and everything else, this is not a sales pitch.
It is not.
This is you appreciating them or appreciating what it is they do.
Yep.
You should not be doing a sales pitch of them.
Yeah.
That's a conversation that happens further on down the road. This is just purely a connection item.
And that's the key hint, right, guys? Like it's like a compound effect that goes through the process. And if you add it as part of your system, you wind up expanding your connections and supporting other business owners, and they will lean in and support you, right? Mm-hmm. So engage in their announcements. If you are going to send a note, we actually recommend having personalized stationery made. Make sure either it has your logo if that's what you want to represent, or for me, I actually have my name on specific stationery. So the thought process with that is it instills that there was actually some thorough thought behind wanting to send the thing. It's absolutely okay to do a gift card or a birthday card or holiday card, greeting card, or a card with art on it. It's good for that. If you can do stationery, perfect. The other way is if you are going to do a card, see if you can find a local artist or somebody that is actually creating and that is a business owner themselves. That actually shows that you support not only your community, you want to support them, but you also support other people that are doing building and creative as well. Mm-hmm. Yep. Hopefully you guys don't have any questions so far and you're eating this up. I kind of get a little jammed up on this.
You talked about the networking and networking events and stuff like that. You know, we go to networking events or open houses from time to time.
Yeah.
And some of the open houses that we've gone to, and we actually went to one, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
But instead of going at the open house for the whole time, we showed up right at the end because the purpose of what we were there for was not for everybody else that showed up for the thing, but rather the business owner themselves and that open house and that support.
Yeah.
So there was a method to the madness. It may have looked like, it was, right at the very end of everything and we missed the whole event, but it was actually strategic in that end is what we actually wanted, not the whole rigmarole throughout the whole thing. So
Yeah, so and that's the thing too, is like it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to every networking event or every scenario. If you can't make it to something, like definitely throw them a note, throw them a personalized email to let them know that you can't make it or that you've got a different conflict, right? So the other part too here is say that you've decided to follow companies, right? You've decided to I put this in between my legs and it's squishy and I went to squeeze my legs together and it's not going to be good. Side note, squirrel. But say that you decided to follow, right? You've got some prospects that you're watching and you're making comments and you're doing different stuff and scenarios. Say that one of them throws up and they're looking for a service, right? If you know somebody that you trust and that you actually would recommend, comment inside and make the connection of the company as well as who the owner is of the business. Make it as easy as possible by providing all the information. And then let them know that, hey, if there's anything else that I can do to help this relationship or help this, let me know. Believe it or not, when I was in corporate America and I would make connections, now this was like right at the beginning of social media, right? But I would do it via emails. What I found was a lot of people were kind of uncomfortable with first introductions. So what they would do is they would actually swing back around and say, hey, could you meet me for coffee and introduce me to X, Y, and Z, right? So then what happens is it wound up being a trifecta of me and the two people that I wanted to connect. And then before you know it, the three of us would create this bond. And then if that's the case and you make that connection, you're actually helping both of them. So therefore, if you wanted to be able to get connected to another business, they now know how you operate and how you would prefer to have an introduction. And the thing is if you're stepping in and you're helping them, they're going to want to come back and help you. So after they walk away, if they got this really great connection and they're able to build a business or build some kind of partnership, if that makes sense, they're going to walk away from that. And for a couple weeks later, they may come back and be like, hey, Kim, I've got so-and-so I want to introduce you to. Could you possibly meet me for coffee so I can make the introduction, right? It's almost like you're subconsciously training and teaching people, hey, if I was to get a connection, this is it. Also, don't be afraid after you've made the connection and there's been a little bit of time to come back and say, hey, do you know any business owners that would be great for me to get into contact with, that would love to be able to hear my story or learn about my services?
Or that you can learn about theirs.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's stuff I want to say which I can't say because I don't know whether I should or not. So we'll have a conversation off camera.
There's going to be a Conor rant video soon. That's what he's saying. Conor rant video coming soon.
No, it's actually, it's on the other side. But anyways, continue forward.
Yeah. So the other part too is, make sure that whatever scenario you choose, whether it's the website, whether it's the social media, whether it's the networking, lean in and give some people some kudos and some love. Like we were talking about it, like we'll be sitting at dinner and be like, oh, so-and-so posted this. This is so cool. Take that extra step of actually letting them know that it's cool, letting them know that it resonates, right? Share it with other people. So here's the thing about sharing. I'm just going to say myself. If you opt to share a business, make sure that their message is in line with your business message, right?
If you're sharing on your personal or sharing on the business page,
I personally, my rule is both, right? So like, here's the deal is like, I go and I support, and behind the scenes and in front of the scenes, I help a lot of people, but I've actually had people just cold solicit me in a chat to say, hey, can you share my business profile on your profile? And it never feels good, right? Like at that point, it's kind of like weird. I'm like, why? I haven't really bought your product. I don't really know about your service. And then it becomes blame, shame, guilt. Like if you're doing that, just cut it off. Like don't do it. It does not feel good for the other person. And then if you wind up going off because they're not doing what you want them to do, that's kind of like not cool either. However,
here you thought I was the one going to rant, but
anyway, but here's the deal is if for whatever reason that service is in alignment with you, right? If their message is in alignment with your business, what you represent, how you speak, what your language is, what your message is, be sure to share them, right? If you are looking to share information fear-based or lack mindset, please don't do that. Find my personal page and watch the video on content creation for that. It not only applies to the website, but social media as well. However, like the thought process is you can for sure share other people's stuff, help them with exposure. Just make sure it's in alignment with your business and your messaging. If not, all of a sudden your current audience is going to be like, why are they sharing this? I don't like this, right?
And I think some of that ties in with the whole tagging on Facebook, where you tag somebody else.
Yeah.
So you want to promote something, so you go through and you tag 50 other people that have a big audience.
Yeah.
And now you're in front of their audience. That's a bad way to do things.
So I'll just share from you guys from a vulnerable standpoint on my personal page. A couple years ago, I had somebody that kept tagging me in specific stuff, and I did not align with their service. I did not align with their business. They would tag me in photos. They would tag me in a bunch of different stuff. In my personal area, I actually set the settings where I have to approve every single tag now, because it just got to the point where people, I think that they're wanting to help. I think they're wanting additional exposure, or I don't really know what the deal is. However, I go and I actually approve on my personal page every single tag, even if it's in a photo. You might see if that's what you want to do or not. It helps me be able to streamline what am I putting out, what am I not putting out. And then the other point too is whenever you get tagged from a business perspective, if you're looking to tag someone, it's usually a good rule of thumb. Ask their permission first. Believe it or not, they'll actually like give you kudos if you do that, right? If you're like, hey, I'm looking to do this status, do you mind if I tag you, right? And it also in their sales process, it gives them a heads up that this is what's coming down the pipe. Makes sense?
I got an email this morning, actually a couple hours ago, that I had posted something on a forum. So I belong to different online discussion forums, and one of them is a web hosting. So Art has joined us here.
Hey!
Web hosting discussion, I think. Ooh, HD. Anyway, hostingdiscussion.com. Anyway, but one of the people on there had taken my post that I made and posted it on another forum on my behalf, even though I don't belong to that forum or anything else. And while I don't necessarily agree with doing that, just go ahead and lift my stuff and then post it somewhere else, and then post back credit. Oh, Conor wrote this. At the same time, he did send me an email of a heads up of, hey, I did this. I hope it was okay.
Yeah.
And let me know so I know for the future.
Yeah.
But, you know, but discussion forums are another great way of being able to keep in contact.
Yep.
You know, I'm not in the web hosting world anymore. I was for 18 years, but I still belong to some of the hosting communities, and I still provide support to some people that are starting out in web hosting or that need assistance with web hosting and stuff like that. So in those regards, yeah, my business, my signature and stuff like that is there on the posts, and I do talk about marketing. But for the most part, I'm there to provide some help.
Right.
And, you know, that's actually how I started my old company. From a graphic design forum, web designers needing help on how to do certain things. So I went through and I provided the help, even though I wasn't getting paid. But that's how the business was created back then.
And I think it's all about like supporting and offering gratitude as well as helping other people. Again, we're going to say it again and again. It's being of service, right? I think just naturally it just happens and it can build. If you're constantly looking for something to support you and only you, then at that point, you might actually find that a lot of people may not want to connect, or they might just not answer your email. If that makes sense. We were talking about that. Like, what was it? A lot of people come to us and they're like, hey, I'm looking for reviews. I want people to review my business. And then it was like, why are people not filling out my reviews? And it was like, well, when was the last time you filled out a review? Right. And then all of a sudden there's crickets. They're like, I don't know if I've ever done an online review. And be like, well, if you're not going to review other people, why would they review you? Right. It's kind of like one of those, and you don't want to get into that area of, if you step in for service and you help somebody, you don't want to automatically expect that they're going to have to do it, right? It might actually show up completely different. Like maybe you help support one person, and then before you know it, somebody else is watching you and watching what you're doing. And they're like, oh my gosh, I think this is so cool that you're doing X, Y, and Z, right? That you're there and you're supporting different people.
Speaking of reviews, if we've ever worked with you,
please go review us. He's coming in for the ass. That's super funny. Okay, so the other part too for networking. So here's the deal about networking. Some people are naturally wired for it. Some people are not naturally wired for it. We actually recommend for you reaching out to whether it's your 5 closest friends that own a business and or it's 5 people in the business world that you admire that's kind of like out there rocking it, and ask them what networking groups they go to or what events that they go to. Then from that area and scenario, you actually could go the next level of asking them, hey, can I tag along and can I attend the event with you? Believe it or not. It kind of takes a little bit of the edge off of being new to networking, right? In addition to it, it gives that other person the opportunity to be able to make introductions for you and learn about your business. And then you can make introductions for them and learn about their business. Whenever you do this, it's really critical that whoever you're going to the event with or whoever you ask, that you start to ask them, hey, what are you super passionate about? Why do you attend this networking event? What do you like about it? What works? What doesn't work? What you're doing is you're actually teaching them that you are teachable, but then in addition to it, you kind of give them a little extra energy in their sales, because some people just don't like networking, but they know they have to do it. And if they've got a buddy that's next to them where they can kind of like teach and train, like you're really good at it. Like he's kind of super shy until he's not super shy. But whenever he goes and you do golf scrambles, that's your version of networking.
Yeah.
He actually makes introductions for people and it's really beautiful on how he does it. Do you want to talk about that?
Just briefly, so I do a lot of charity golf tournaments. That there'll be different tournaments that go on, and I will go attend those. Generally, it allows me an opportunity to meet not just the other group that's in the foursome, but you've generally got a lunch, dinner thing, or something like that that goes on afterwards, and then you can meet up at other events also. Usually raffles and stuff that happens all beforehand.
Right.
There's an awful lot of exchange in there from business owners to business owners.
Right.
I've gone to some tournaments where I'll go on my own, and even just going and playing golf in general. I may go and I'm a single, but I'll meet up with 2, or I'll be assigned 2 other people or 3 other people.
Like this last summer, he filled his calendar, his contacts with new golfers.
Yeah.
And they all owned businesses, guys.
They were all business owners.
Business owners.
Between the different tournament things that I go to, and usually I evaluate the tournaments also because it has to be something that I believe in.
Yeah.
There's been some tournaments that I've been invited to that I just don't believe in the cause, therefore I don't participate.
Right.
I go somewhere else. But even on league night, a golf league, I'm not in an actual league,
right?
But I've been a sub I was in one league and I was a sub in another. And it allowed me that opportunity to meet a handful of different people and different business owners, make those contacts and store those contacts, and then reconnect with them.
Right.
One of the things that I've done for a number of years now, I'm a big cigar guy. Cigar and whiskey, I mean, that's my world. Aside from Kim, of course, who's my world. My everything.
He fixed that. He fixed that really quick.
But so I'll head up to Safari Cigar, which is one of the clubs here in town, and usually I'll put a posting out on Facebook, or I'll send out a handful of text messages to different people. Hey, I'm going to be up there between this time and this time.
Right.
If you're around, awesome. And it's a great way to be able to connect those people with other people. Or I may have somebody who's in real estate stuff and they need other contacts for contractors and things like that.
Right.
And being able to facilitate that. Kind of like with you and the coffee, except it's with whiskey and cigars. And then, we do whiskey meetings at Spirit World is another place in town. They do a whiskey tasting.
Yep.
They do a master every year, at least twice a year. They do a big tasting. And then every month they do a smaller tasting. Well, it allows me that opportunity to get in front of other people that are not just interested in whiskey, but a lot of them are also business owners, expendable incomes and stuff like that.
Well, and the other thing too is that's a beautiful example because you've actually had, like, one of the things we were going to talk about is getting connected back to lost contacts, right? That's one of the fastest ways when there's a whiskey event or a cigar event. That's stuff that already has its jam. Believe it or not, at our new location, pretty much everybody goes to the cigar bar now. So he's got like super buddies all over the place now. Yep. But in addition to that, like, say that you've lost contact with different individuals that you kind of wish you would have stayed in contact with in business, or you're launching a new business. You're like, gosh, I wish I would get connected to A, B, and C, then you can actually make that connection. You can actually help people by inviting them to specific events, if that makes sense, and kind of helping them be part of the community. Yeah, so with that, let's see.
I'm getting a handful of errors that just popped up here on the Facebook stream. Yeah. So we'll see. I think we're still live. Yeah. It looks like we are.
Looks like it. It looks like we are. Okay, so the other part too is, really quickly to kind of wrap this up. Something that I would recommend for all of you guys, and this is a little abstract. It's kind of like old school, but it works. It works so, so good. Be a fan of handwritten notes or send birthday cards to people, right? If you can, if you're going to send a birthday card, don't just sign your name. Actually do a personalized note. Conor has a specific gentleman that he used to go to services for years ago, and it's been forever since he's been part of it. But every single year, he actually gets a personalized birthday card from this guy, and he loves it. And it kind of like made us go back and be like, hey, what do we want to create with intention in 2019 as well as 2020? Now, the thing that makes it a little awkward is if it's a personalized contact that you kind of lost contact, you might actually have to ask for their address, right? However, if they work for a business or they own a business, you can always find their business address. And it's okay, it's acceptable for you to send the note to the business, if that makes sense. But we recommend like looking whether it's their business anniversary, their birthday, or they're just doing really, really well and they made an announcement. Go ahead and send actual physical mail. Physical mail, like less sales flyers, it works. It does work. We're not going to say it doesn't work depending on the industry.
But it comes back to the intention of it all.
But we're talking about actually handwritten notes, like telling people, hey, this is what I like and this is what I love about you and about your business. And by the way, massive congratulations on your new location, if that makes sense. So this is the fastest way to be able, even if you're not connected to the person, believe it or not. So if it's a new business you're trying to get in front of, they announced it's the owner's birthday, send them a birthday card. And it's okay for you to say, hey, I know that you don't know me. However, I know you because I saw you on social media. Happy birthday. And by the way, I would like to gift you a cup of coffee so I can learn more about you. Believe it or not, they might pick up the phone and actually call you. It happens for me all the time with my old corporate job and then even still today. So,
years ago, a buddy of mine was talking to me about it. It was Kirby salesman that came to the house to sell vacuums and stuff like that.
I found the Kirby receipt. I found it. That sucker was so heavy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so heavy.
It was awesome. But
it was so heavy.
A buddy of mine, basically the way that they got to talk to him, they rang the doorbell and they came to him and said, hey, we're doing a quick survey. Which do you prefer, Pepsi or Coke?
Yeah.
And he said, well, I'm a Pepsi guy. He goes, great. And he jotted down a piece of paper and he walked away.
Yeah.
And then he came back probably 3, 4, 5 minutes later, rings the doorbell and says, hey, got this bottle of Pepsi for you. I'd like to talk to you about the Kirby Vacuum. It's like, okay, you went to all that effort. Sure, why not?
Why not? And I think that's the key here, right? Is going through that effort and actually taking that step. We had an insurance, we're not going to say who the company is. We had an insurance company come and visit us at our old storefront and asked Conor, what is your liquor of choice? Because we had a bar there. And he would say, da-da-da-da-da. And before you know it, he actually came back and he gifted. Now us, just being us, we actually took a picture of it next to his card and said, hey, go check out this guy. 24 hours later, he came back and said, my boss asked me to request if you could take that image down, right? Because it was actually against their company policy.
It wasn't like a bottle. It was one of the small little...
It was small. It was okay, though.
Flight bottles.
It was okay.
But yeah, because of their company policy, you couldn't really tag with it. Thing. So
but it worked out beautiful.
It was great
and he's a really great guy. Yeah. So anyway, we hope all of this is value for you guys. If one of these strategies, if you have additional questions, feel free to reach out. I know that it was every which way. However, we wanted to make sure
reach out to Kim and go to coffee, or me and go have cigars and whiskey,
or golf. They have that Top Golf that's going to be opening.
That'll be opening soon. Yeah. Let me hit this piece right here.
Yeah.
Those right there. Social media stuff, facebook.com/BigRedSEO. Twitter is Big Red SEO, and then youtube.com/Big Red SEO. On YouTube, you can go right over here and click the subscribe button.
In my boobie.
It's right in that area.
Right in that area.
So
it's so weird when you do that online. It's so weird. So weird when you do
click that button. You'll be able to subscribe to the YouTube stuff. Again, you can only do that on YouTube. So if you're watching Facebook Live, too bad. Come back and join me on YouTube.
Perfect. So next week we will tackle a different subject for you guys and helping you grow your business as well as your online presence. In the meantime, we wish you all a great rest of the Friday. And thank you so much for tuning in live or the replay. And yeah, I think that's it.
That's it.
All right, guys. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Have a great day. Bye now.